your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can build, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who can lead properly, place your ex by the rising sun. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace, vote for love, vote for hope, vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace, vote for love, vote for hope, vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace, vote for love, vote for hope, vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace, vote for love, vote for hope, vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can restore hope, place your ex by the rising sun.
Do you know that in 2016, 66 liters of diesel cost $100? Today, under the PNM, you get 20 liters of diesel for $100. The diesel you paid $100 for under the UNC now costs $327 under the PNM, which directly affects the cost of food, transport, and services. Guess who I'm voting for next time?
Welcome to the United National Congress's Pavement Report. We take this opportunity to thank you for coming out and for all your support. Now, please stand for the national anthem and remain standing for the prayer. Thank you.
Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, highlands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land, we pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Almighty God, most beneficial and merciful, Creator of the universe and embodiment of divine wisdom and light, we come before you with thanksgiving and praise. May your will be done in our nation as it is in the heavens. Please bless our political leader, party officials, activists, and all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Give us the grace to always see good, be good, and do good, and the courage to serve the people. Protect us as we stand against injustice and iniquity, and inspire our endeavors to find the right solutions to the problems that are affecting our fellow citizens. Grant that we may always work together with humility and respect for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of our country.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins, everybody wins. Vote for peace, vote for love, vote for hope, vote for change. When UNC wins,
When UNC wins, everybody wins.
on election day.
My UNC brothers and sisters, make some noise. St. Augustine, make some noise for the PNM to know that we are well and ready for government. Honorable political leader, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, members of parliament, senators, councillors, aldermen, constituency executives, activists, media, and you the people, you the constituents, good evening. Good evening. It is indeed a pleasure to bring greetings and welcome you here this evening in the constituency of St. Augustine. I am Jalen Rupnarain, a humble servant in the electoral district of Kirep-Paji. I have been in politics for over 18 years, starting my journey in the constituency of Dabadi Omara as an activist and becoming a councillor in 2010, thanks to my honorable political leader, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, who have been to me and would always be the best prime minister this country ever had. Agreed? Back then, I can say we delivered, and we delivered with care and genuine concern for citizens and their needs. Many projects were accomplished. We were on the road to prosperity. Our human capital, which is our people, were at the heart of our country's development. But now, almost 10 years later, under this spiteful, vicious, vindictive, Rowley-led PNM government, and let me stress, Rowley-led and not Stuart Young, we are suffering, and the people continue to suffer without an end in sight. Let me talk about deplorable conditions of the nation's roadway that we continue to see daily. So many potholes right here in the constituency of St. Augustine that people have to purchase shocks, bushings, and tires on a yearly basis. Tell me, who has reimbursed you to fix your vehicle when it is damaged? WASA? No. The Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation? No. The government? No. What were they doing? My district also stifled for funds and resources, and I want to focus on just two main issues. The Blackman River, which you probably heard I spoke about in the past, and my MP, which is also known for flooding. I have been requesting from the Minister of Works and Transport to pay special attention to this river, which is a hazard in my district. Many proposals were brought forward, and to date nothing has been done, with the exception of continued flooding. The residents on Abdul Lane are fed up, and to name a few more streets, Joyo Street, Blackman Lane, Watt Street, and I can go on. Where was the Minister of Works involvement? Nowhere. I wish to educate the public a little bit about the budget. When the Minister of Finance stands and reads a budget in Parliament, he advises the public of money being allocated to the regional corporations. Our eyes opening big and thinking something, but we the young people, as we just say, don't get waxed. This is the disappointing part, is that the money allocated and money released are two different things. To date, we are still waiting on funds to provide essential services. Better has to be done. Better has to come out of such situation, and we the people, you the people, must be able to benefit. This is our primary focus. Without you the people benefiting, nothing works and nothing functions. But I want to tell you, better will come when we vote the PNM out on the 28th of April and put a UNC working government back into office. I can go on, but we have many more meetings like this to expose this uncaring government. My question to you, brothers and sisters, St. Augustine, do you want to continue the suffering under the PNM? Trinidad and Tobago, do you want to continue the suffering under the PNM? So tonight, my UNC family, tonight, St. Augustine, say with me, enough is enough, and the PNM must not see another PNM to lead government for the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We, the UNC, will be victorious on April the 28th. We must be prepared. We must work hard. We must work smart. We must work together to win this general election. I ask of every citizen to think about your future and the country and your children and your grandchildren. Think about feeling safe again. On April the 28th, we will beat them in the east. We will beat them in the west. We will beat them in the north. We will beat them in the south. We will only see yellow. Vote, vote, vote for the United National Congress. Let us return a good government led by the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar, who will be the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Vote the PNM out and vote UNC. I thank you. Let me take this time to introduce my colleague, my brother, a very hard-working and dedicated councillor, Richard Rampersad, for the electoral district of St. Augustine South, Piaco, St. Helena.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago.
Good night, St. Augustine. Tonight we are coming to you from the heart of the East-West Corridor. And when I look out at this crowd, I could only see a sea of yellow. And if nothing, this truly inspires me and reminds me that the UNC is very much alive in every length and breadth of this country. Tonight, I have the honor of introducing no stranger to the UNC platform. This gentleman is an avid UNC activist, a businessman, and the executive producer of the very popular Ground Report and the Observer. Please, with a lusty round of applause, help me to welcome Mr. Mikey K.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. A round of applause, please. UNC family, it's that time again. Welcome right here in St. Augustine. I know many of you would have left home after that post-cabinet conference upset, still confused, people making a mockery of our democracy, playing us for fools. I tell you, if incompetence was a drug, these fellas would be addicts. They have no shame whatsoever, none. To come now and talk about you want to talk to the financial stakeholders and the banks. In the heights of a pandemic, we were treated and defined as invisible people. They didn't care about the mortgage payments we had to make, the loans and what have you. Banks made ridiculous profits under Rowley, Young and Imbert. And now we say enough is enough. We want to live better. And we start tonight right here in St. Augustine. Here's where we start to live better. We send that strong message once and for all. And for all the people, this season is not just victory for the UNC, but this season is victory for Trinidad and Tobago. And it is also the season where you have to lock off some people and pick them up perhaps after the 28th of April. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. When they come and they tell it, I hear. All we want to hear is victory on the 28th of April. That is all. That is all. When they come and they tell you they're undecided, what you're undecided about, what you need clarity about, how many babies that died in the NICU, how bad the infrastructure is, how many people were murdered, how many home invasions, what are you undecided about? You're playing games, they're PNMIs, walk away from them, lock them off. Lock them off. We have one person leading this political choir, and that is Kamla Prasad-Bissessar. Nobody else. That's who leads us, and that is who's going to lead us to victory. I want to say a special good night to all the MPs, councillors, NATEX members, candidates, everyone who came out here, and this is the beginning of it all. I want to call on stage a man who will not make a mockery of our civil liberties and certainly won't embarrass us at the Privy Council. His name is Saddam Hussein. And he's not a terrorist. He's not a terrorist. He puts terror into the PNM, but he's not a terrorist. But he's a fearless fighter for the people. This young and dynamic advocate attorney exhibits relentless ambition to build and develop the minds of our nation's youth and their communities. He has courageously fought for the rights, liberties, legalities, and is committed to the development of our citizens through his knowledge and experience in both criminal and civil law. St. Augustine, UNC family, put your hands together for the Member of Parliament for the constituency of Sawa Barataria, the Policy and Strategy Officer for the UNC, MP Saddam Hussein.
Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend.
Good evening, UNC family. Good evening, St. Augustine. And good evening to the next government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. I crave your indulgence tonight to address you first. We are currently observing the holy month of Ramadan. And right after I speak, I have to head to the mosque. So I thank you very much and I crave your indulgence for allowing me this facility to speak tonight first. But I am compelled to address several matters of national importance that we have seen over the last few days, where the PNM has trampled over our Republican Constitution. They have appointed a Prime Minister who never fight an election but will receive $87,000 per month for the rest of his life. They have appointed an Attorney General who don't practice law. Could you imagine that? Them appoint an Attorney General who don't practice law. But I will get to those two matters afterwards. But today I want to tell you that under the leadership of Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, we have scored our first victory in General Election 2025. Today, Stuart Young has conceded and invited international observers for the 2025 General Election. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar was very forceful. She led the battle. She led that fight. And we are now told that we will have observers from the Carter Center. But Stuart Young playing smart with foolishness. He said Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar wrote him yesterday, but he had already drafted the letter, but he's going to send it tomorrow. He said he's going to send it tomorrow, you know. Rowley agreed for CARICOM observers before he left office. But we discovered that when we did our research, Reginald Armour, who was sitting as the Attorney General at that time, his wife is the Assistant Secretary General of the CARICOM. Now, we have no problem with the observers from CARICOM. Let me make that abundantly clear. But if she sits, her husband was sitting in the cabinet, and then she sits in the CARICOM and send observers here, will that give you an appearance of fairness? Will that give you an appearance of fairness, my UNC family? That is why Kamla Prasad Bisesa, as an astute politician and attorney at law, said that we need independent international observers. Today I hear Stuart Young play down and he say, well, we vex because our wife is an employee in CARICOM. She's not an ordinary employee in CARICOM. She sits in a very high office, the office of the Assistant Secretary General of the CARICOM. And within 24 hours after that letter was dispatched by Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Stuart Young has conceded. Last night, he get a political bus head from Kamla Prasad Bisesa. That is what he get, a political bus head. And there's a lot of debate and argument going around with what Stuart Young did 33 years ago as a student at St. Mary's College where he attended. 33 years ago, I want to make it abundantly clear, UNC family. 33 years ago, Stuart Young was a bully, and 33 years later, he is still a bully. He is still a bully. The media can do what they want to twist this story. Stuart Young is a bully. We sit in the parliament on a daily basis, and we see how he demoralizes members of the opposition. Now, I have a fellow who vexed with me, his name is Rodney Charles. Do you know Stuart Young used to call this man Duffy every day? He go in parliament. Stuart Young had the worst things to say about women in the parliament. Do you remember? We were debating the budget, debating important matters of delivery, of governance, how they're going to spend the nation's money, but he busy talking about what they're going to do in the toilet in parliament. All you remember that? I don't even want to repeat what the man said. The man is a bully. The man disrespects women, and any man who disrespects women is a imps. Any man who disrespects women in this country is a imps. So don't come and tell me Stuart Young is not a bully. What he did 33 years ago to that person, he is doing it 33 years later to the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. And you must ensure, my UNC family, that you reject Stuart Young resoundingly at the polls on the 28th of April. So on that day, go out early and cast your vote in favor of the United National Congress and get rid of PNM and get rid of the Stuart Young. This man stand up in the parliament and say, listen, Kamla Prasad Bisesa has an absurd argument because she wants to reintroduce baby grant. He say if he is in charge, he will never do that. Do you know the salary that Stuart Young is getting, $87,000 a month, will benefit 174 single mothers to receive baby grants for their children? Who you rather vote for to give the 174 women relief for their babies? Don't vote to give Stuart Young more money in the pocket, because he has recused himself over 126 times from the cabinet, and every time he recuses himself is either him or somebody he's related to making money. They're making money. They are going into cabinet because they are not concerned about governance. They are concerned about government. Because you know why? They are entitled to spend the nation's money. That is what they are doing without accountability. So my brothers and sisters, you will vote Stuart Young as the Prime Minister. We will vote Kamla Prasad Bisesa as the Prime Minister. Imagine Stuart Young, oh God, this is a bad imagination. If this man becomes Prime Minister, if this man, alright, I say that. But he got to sit outside the cabinet because he will have to recuse himself for every single decision. That is what he will have to do. They got a bad chair outside the cabinet door for him, because this man will recuse himself every single time. But to prove why I am saying that this man is a bully is because when he made that statement, the Speaker of the House, unprecedented statement that the Speaker of the House had to give, where she said that she will not even repeat the words that Stuart Young used in the Parliament. She said that the reprehensible statements which were directed at the member for Kuvano and the member for Siparia, had generated much public opprobrium and brought the House into disrepute and odium. The Speaker went further. This is not my words, you know. The Speaker said that Stuart Young, she is not constrained in issuing any member a reprimand commensurate with the severity of his or her degree of unparliamentary, objectionable, abusive, insultive, or offensive language. She found that the words that Stuart Young used were crass and distasteful. She said they were misogynistic. She said, as a woman, this is Bridget, you know. This is not UNC, you know. Bridget is saying this. I can call she Bridget now because she's no longer the speaker. As a woman, I am naturally led to condemn statements which seek to indecently portray another woman. Statements which trivialize criminal activities which exploit women, or statements which impute improper conduct on behalf of other women. And I want to give only the definition of this big word, misogynistic. It means language which promotes hatred to women. The Speaker of the House found that Stuart Young used statements that would promote hatred towards women. Women of Trinidad and Tobago, I want you all to not be bullied and reject Stuart Young. Reject him. I want you all to reject him. And then I want to get to our next lady, WPC Camille. I have an express article here that Dr. Moonilal says she's at WPC for 10 years now and she never get a promotion. But I see she get a promotion as an AG now. She says my AG appointment legal. She's illegal, but she's not a lawyer practicing, eh? She said, all right, let's thank the massive tank. Right. This is what Camille said. She said she stopped paying the subscription to the Law Association after 2001 because the last time she engaged in practice was in 2001. I'll get to that because that's an important point that we have to raise on this platform. I believe, and Devesh could probably correct me, that Camille Robinson Regis is the first Attorney General in the history of Trinidad and Tobago who cannot practice law in Trinidad and Tobago. She cannot practice law. Israel Khan called her caretaker Attorney General. So Amor disqualified himself in a Miami court and Camille, she can't practice law. And that is the quality of candidates that the PNM has given us. But Camille is saying that she don't need a practicing certificate because she's not practicing law. The role of the Attorney General is a sacred role. The Attorney General is the chief legal advisor to the cabinet. Although an attorney at law would not, if she doesn't go to court personally on behalf of the state herself, when a person holds out themselves to be an attorney at law and gives advice, that is practicing law. The fact that you are giving advice, you are guiding the cabinet, you are practicing law. So she cannot come to say, well, I not pay the dues because I don't practice law. That is absurd. That is unheard of. In fact, the Law Association earlier this year put out a release. And this is what the Law Association had to say. And I'm reading from this. They said the Law Association urges members of the public to exercise vigilance when engaging the services of an attorney at law by ensuring he or she is the holder of a valid practicing certificate which is issued annually. And they went on to say that it will be professional misconduct where an attorney at law shall not practice as such unless he has been issued a practicing certificate in accordance with the law. That, my brothers and sisters, is a fundamental point because Camille Robinson Regis has admitted that she is not the holder of a practicing certificate, so she cannot advise the cabinet. What's she going to do? Pick up a legal opinion from the law officer in the ministry and just hand Stuart Young? That's not how it works. When you're in a cabinet and a matter comes up for deliberation, you will give advice. You will seek counsel if you need to get external counsel, but you have to give advice. So Camille Robinson-Regis is playing smart with foolishness. Tonight I want to tell Camille Robinson-Regis, go and pay your fees to the Law Association. Go and pay your fees. It's really easy now, you know. You can do it online and you can use credit card. I don't know if they accept government credit card, but they can accept credit card to pay your fees. So Camille Robinson-Regis is playing smart with foolishness. She's playing smart with foolishness. They have brought that office of the Attorney General into absolute contempt, ridicule, odium, and disrepute. That is what they have done. But my brothers and sisters tonight, and let me just leave you with one more thing. It will be very embarrassing because she said she could get a practicing certificate. It's not as easy as that, you know. As an attorney at law who does not pay their fees for 12 months, you know what the process is? She has to file an action in court, file an affidavit in support of that claim, asking the court and begging the court to issue her a practicing certificate, and she has to explain why she didn't pay for those number of years. So how embarrassing it is. Well, an attorney general has to go before a high court judge to say, please give me a practicing certificate. Shameful. We must vote out the PNM. We have bright, very, very bright attorneys at law in the United National Congress. We need to get rid of them. But tonight, before I leave you, my brothers and sisters, I have one very important matter that I want to discuss with you. And I want you to pay particular attention to this matter. Because in Trinidad and Tobago, you have something called state enterprises. They are companies that the government set up in order to do a specific task. So when the government set up these companies, and one in particular I will reference tonight is Plibdeco. That's the Point Lisas Industrial Port Development Corporation Limited. The government owns the majority of shares in that company. They select the directors and so on. And when a state enterprise is operating, they operate using state monies. You all agree? Public money, that's your money, right? And they must carry out the functions of that authority, which is called fiduciary duty. That's a big word to say. They must act in the best interest of the taxpayers and the company. That is what they must do. My brothers and sisters, tonight I have in my possession a memo from the Point Lisas Industrial Port Development Corporation Limited, which is called Plibdeco. This memorandum is dated the 24th of February 2025, and it is from the Vice President Business Services to the President Acting of Plibdeco, Curtis Denny. And I want to read out this memo for you because it is obscene, it is vulgar, and it is an absolute piece of corruption in relation to the expenditure of taxpayers' money. And let me read it for you. The subject says, request for cash/check, purchase of tickets for event February 25th, 2025. The undersigned refers to the subject matter and a request from the Board of Directors. The Board of Directors of Plibdeco is asking for this. Please be advised that the undersigned is requesting the allocation of funds to purchase 18 tickets for the event PNM Red Fete, taking place on February 25th, 2025. The cost per ticket is outlined below, making the total required amount $20,400. General tickets, $400 per ticket. 6 tickets, $2,400. Note to be raffled out to staff. VIP all-inclusive, $1,500 per ticket. 12 tickets, total value $18,000. For who? The directors and management of Plibdeco. Kindly arrange for the cash/check to be made available and payable to the People's National Movement, PNM. Forwarded for your information and action, please, Curtis Denny. Look at this. They are using state money to buy fete ticket for a PNM event. This is obscene. This is vulgar. This is a total waste of taxpayers' money, if not illegal. There are fundamental breaches of the Integrity in Public Life Act here, my brothers and sisters. How can you use state resources to buy tickets for a party event, especially the PNM, Red Fete? And it gets curiouser. There's a note at the bottom here in handwriting, and here what it says. Note, try to confirm to collect cash. Try to confirm the person to collect the cash when check is signed. So they don't even know who picking up the money for the PNM. So that is why when we tell you that they were using state money to build Balize House, we have evidence here where they were using monies from a state enterprise to fund a PNM event. Black and white here, my brothers and sisters. Black and white. So today I call upon the chairman of Plibdeco, Annette Watty, to explain this matter, because this is a serious matter. In fact, the entire board of Plibdeco must go. They must go. And tonight I call on Rohan Sinanan to explain this matter, where they are using public monies to buy PNM Fete ticket. And you know where the PNM Fete was held? You want to know where? On Government Plaza. Again, government premises. My brothers and sisters, these are matters that we have to vote on. These are the matters we have to reject from the PNM. They cannot continue to abuse the taxpayers like this. When you go for a social security grant, when you go for your pension, they are refusing you, but they're spending $20,000 worth of monies to buy PNM Fete ticket. My brothers and sisters, we are calling for a police investigation and an investigation by the Integrity Commission into this matter. Into this matter. And we must ask, my brothers and sisters, how many more other state enterprises buy PNM Fete ticket for the 25th? They gave the memo on the 24th, and by the 25th, payment was ready. My brothers and sisters, we have 5 weeks to go. My time is up. I will be speaking to you again and again and again to expose the corruption of this PNM government. Long live the United National Congress. Long live Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Victory on the 28th of April 2025. I thank you, my brothers and sisters. I thank you.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can build place.
Thank you. Thank you. A round of applause again for Mr. Saddam Hussein. And Anil, you're correct, Anil. Where's the police? Where's the police? But we do have some with us here tonight. We want to thank the members of the TTPS for coming out and, of course, making sure everyone is safe, securing, of course, the surroundings. Please give them a round of applause. That's what it's all about. Our next speaker is the candidate for Trin City Maloney. Mr. Richard Smith is a dedicated leader with a strong background in service, management, and specialized training. Beginning his career in 2002, Mr. Smith served as a corporal in the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, where he gained extensive experience in operational planning, conflict management, and leadership in high-pressure environments. He holds a certificate in criminology from the University of the West Indies, highlighting his academic commitment to understanding societal safety and security challenge. Driven by integrity and a commitment to excellence. Please, UNC family, put your hands together and welcome on stage tonight the candidate, UNC candidate for Trin City Maloney, Mr. Richard Smith.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Good night, everyone. St. Augustine, Trin City Maloney, good night. Wow, wow. It's an honor to be here, ladies and gentlemen. The honorable political leader, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, Senior Counsel, MP, members of Parliament, members of the National Executive, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters of Trinity Maloney, good night. It is both an honor and privilege to stand before you as a candidate and official representative of Trinity Maloney. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks the beginning of a new chapter, one where I commit myself fully to serving you, one with passion, with dedication I've given to the Army and to the cause of building a better future for us all. My brothers and sisters, first and foremost, I want to give thanks to God Almighty, my Lord, my Savior. It is by His grace that I'm standing here today, where I'm forever grateful and for His guidance and strength. I also want to take time to thank my children. They are my legacy, for all their dedicated, for support, and for everything. I would like to thank my mom for a timeless advice, and it has served me well, for the strength and wisdom that has shaped me into this man that I am today. My brothers and sisters, as a retired corporal of the Trinidad and Tobago Army, I have served this nation for 23 years. I have protected this land, fought to defend its values, worked to ensure the safety and security of every citizen. But now I stand before you, not in a military uniform, ladies and gentlemen, but as a proud representative of the United National Congress, a son of the Trinity Maloney. It's time for us to build a new future for our community, my brothers and sisters. One rooted in opportunity, one rooted in justice, and one rooted for integrity and equality. I want to take this moment to reflect on the past from 2015, my brothers and sisters. Under the leadership of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, Trinidad was once on the rise. Our economy was strong. Our people were thriving. Our youth of Trinidad and Tobago had hope. We were a shining example of what could have been achieved when we worked together. But it pains me to say today, my brothers and sisters, the story under the PNM administration is very, very different. For far too long, my brothers and sisters, it has been very shameful to say what I have to say right now. The PNM has been in charge of Trinity Maloney, and what they have done for this community, nothing. They have been neglected, abused, and left to face harsh realities of crime, poverty, and lack of opportunities and general hopelessness. We see it every day in Trinity Maloney, my brothers and sisters, where the dilapidated roads, the schools in disrepair, the unemployment rate rising, violent crime that continues to ravage our neighborhoods. Our youth are desperate for jobs, for opportunities, for hope. Yet the PNM continue to offer nothing but promises, gimmick, to buy what? Votes? To do what? Give out a jersey here or there? And what is worse, they raise their salaries, my brothers and sisters, and they ignore the cries of the people, the very people, same people that they turn to for votes, my brothers and sisters. How much longer can we take and tolerate this neglect? How much longer, ladies and gentlemen, will the community suffer while those in the PNM enjoy luxury. I now stand before you with a clarion call to end this era in our nation. Before I leave, ladies and gentlemen, I offer my service to the people of Trinity-Maloney. I stand for discipline, hard work, and victory for our community. I thank you. God bless, and God bless Trinity-Maloney.
Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can build places.
Yes, another round of applause for the UNC candidate for Trinity-Maloney, Richard Smith. My gosh, look at this caught off guard crowd. Wow. They say we were caught off guard. Been in office almost 10 years. No track record, nothing proven. But you're concerned about UNC business. This is UNC business. This is the people business. Look at that. Before I introduce our next speaker, I want, of course, recognize the support system that we have for the candidates in the UNC. I want you to please give a round of applause to those people who are working and walking side by side with the candidates, helping. One man who has stood out, of course, in the Arouca-Lopino district is former government minister, Mr. Jack Warner. Jack, stand up, please. Stand up, stand up. He has been walking, doing his part like every one of you. Again, keep up the great job. Victory is a must. Dr. Natalie Chaitan-Maharaj is a distinguished specialist. A gynecologist with 15 years of experience, recognized for dedication to improving lives through healthcare and service. I think it was Mr. Warner who made it clear. She said that she became a doctor to help people. She's now a politician to help Trinidad and Tobago. She has an unshakable work ethic and a heart for service. She's ready to expand her impact by transitioning from community-focused service to a national platform. Her vision is clear: to ensure that quality healthcare, empowerment, and development reach every corner of the nation. UNC family, St. Augustine, please put your hands together. Make some noise. This breath of political fresh air. Welcome the UNC candidate for Arouca-Lopino, Dr. Chaitan-Maharaj.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins.
Great leaders are defined not by their words alone, but by their unwavering commitment to change. Our honorable leader, Ms. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, UNC National Executive, MPs, senators, fellow nominees, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters, good evening. For the past 15 years, I have dedicated my life to healing and helping, first as a doctor and now as your UNC candidate. I continue that mission for my children, for my hardworking mothers like me, for the youth who have seen their dreams taken away. Now, I'm a gynecologist, but I want to ask you a psychiatry question. What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Keeping this joke of a P&M government in power over and over and expecting this country to improve, that is insanity. The UNC will stop the insanity and make things make sense. I work in the healthcare system. I see the suffering. Operating theaters left without essential equipment, like the right-size glove for a surgeon to operate. Patients wait days in overcrowded emergency rooms for a bed. They wait weeks for critical scans and tests. They wait months for clinic appointments. Not enough doctors, not enough nurses. And yet, instead of staffing our hospitals properly, what do? They hold fancy ceremonies for practical completion. What is that? That is a dreamed up term to allow a man to cut a ribbon and put his name on another plaque before he leaves. Let's talk about Port of Spain General. Construction of the central block was started in 2016. 9 years later, it's still not fully operational. And who suffers? You do. Because when Port of Spain General can't function, Eric Williams has to carry the extra burden. That means longer wait times and more suffering for people here in the East-West corridor and the entire NCRHA catchment area. While the NCRHA's own Arima General Hospital remains underutilized because they refuse to hire staff to make it fully operational. If the need is there, why are completed hospitals standing half empty while shells of buildings have practical completion ceremonies? Make it make sense. Healthcare under the PNM, that is insanity. Let me tell you a story. We had our cottage meeting in Brazil on Monday night with 100 times more people than that funeral service they had on Sunday. I went to that cottage meeting with my wonderful campaign team and constituents. Aruka Lopino, let me hear you. One of my youth supporters is epileptic and suffered a seizure in the middle of the cottage meeting. Later, as the ambulance took to the hospital, I learned the true story. You know who was to blame? The PNM is fully to blame for what happened to my youth supporter because he could not get his meds properly filled off the CDAP prescription form. Our honorable leader, Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Bissessa, has already laid out our plan for healthcare, including making sure CDAP has all the medications my youth supporter needed on Monday night and new ones to manage the disease better. Our leader and next Prime Minister has always showed a vested interest in our youth. The young people of the East-West corridor and this whole country deserve better than this last decade of darkness. I urge our nation's youth, our Gen Z, vote to stop the insanity by dipping your finger for the UNC on April 28th. Go and tell the PNM, no more, vote them out. Under the PNM, we watched opportunity after opportunity for our youth disappear. The GATE program, for instance. Once, university education was within reach for many youths like me. I am living proof of what investment in education can do. Now, GATE has been slashed, funding decreased, more courses removed, more restrictions placed. Where once the UNC made education possible, under the PNM it is priced out of reach. Even university graduates, imagine this is where we reach. A graduated doctor in this country can't find a job? We rarely reach. Make it make sense. Another major issue our young people face is the loss of opportunities for entrepreneurship. Once upon a time, if a young person had a dream of starting a business, there were government grants available to get them started. The Enterprise Investment Fund is an example that has been reduced and then discontinued. When we return to government, we will reinstate meaningful support for our entrepreneurs. Now permit me 1 minute to speak about my home, Aruka Lopino. Every walk I have done so far, the cries are the same. The youth in our communities are jobless. They want help. They don't want no CPAP walk. They want better. That is why the UNC has a manifesto ripe with policy plans to educate and safeguard our youth. The UNC will make it make sense. You need jobs. The PNM has the vacancies but won't hire. You need a functioning healthcare system, but they won't staff the hospitals that are built, nor will they complete the expansions to the existing ones. You need opportunities for your children, but they keep cutting youth and education programs. Make it make sense. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Let us make the change. Let us vote them out on April 28th. Vote UNC, vote for real change. Because say it with me, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. Thank you. Good night.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Folks, a round of applause again for Dr. Natalie Chaitan-Maharaj, UNC candidate for Arouca Lopino. Yes, brilliant indeed. A breath of fresh political air, I must say. Now, our next speaker, and this is what we expect, and this is what we're hearing. We're hearing that there's going to be an increase in female voters in Arangwe St. Joseph come this election. This man, they call him Smooth. He's able to de-escalate any kind of conflict in the community in the space of time he's been there. He's a smooth talker. A matter of fact, they define him as a cross between George Clooney and Amitabh Bachchan. Mr. Devesh Maharaj is a seasoned lawyer with extensive experience in legal advocacy, known for his unwavering commitment to justice and community service. Throughout his career, he has dedicated himself to representing those in need, ensuring fairness and integrity in every case he takes on. His love for music and culture adds another dimension to his dynamic personality. UNC family, St. Augustine, please put your hands together, make some noise for UNC candidate for Arangwe St. Joseph, Mr. Devesh Maharaj.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins.
Brothers and sisters, St. Augustine, where is Arangwe St. Joseph? Thank you, brothers and sisters. We are a sister constituency of St. Augustine, but we call our constituency the great constituency of Arangwe St. Joseph. We were the first capital in Trinidad and Tobago, brothers and sisters. Every morning, one of the first messages that I receive on my WhatsApp is from a supporter. And his message was, uprising, my brother, uprising. 2 weeks ago, it has been changed to grand uprising. He's calling for a grand uprising, brothers and sisters, in Trinidad and Tobago. Why is he asking for a grand uprising in Trinidad and Tobago? When we walk through the length and breadth of St. Joseph, Arangwes, we have recognized the decaying infrastructure, roads, pavements, water supply, garbage. There are drains in Arangwes that have been clogged with water. In a dry season, the whole infrastructure in the constituency is falling apart. More importantly, brothers and sisters, what is happening in Arangwe St. Joseph and throughout Trinidad and Tobago is the youth. What is happening to the youth? From the north of the Eastern Main Road, they are asking when I stop on the corners, boss, what are you doing for we? What you're doing for we? I have no answer what we doing for we. I say I have no power to do anything for you right now. When you go down into Arangwes, it's the same thing. Yesterday we walked East Grove. And the elders in the community came out and said, we must have a meeting. I sat and I had an immediate meeting with about 5 of them. First question, youth. They're all over the place. And when they do not find something to do, brothers and sisters, you know where they are going. 4 weeks ago, the acting commissioner of police, Mr. Benjamin, in an interview on the Sunday Express, lamented the fact that youths throughout Trinidad and Tobago are turning to gangs. They are turning to gangs, and he lamented the fact that despite the best efforts of the police and all the policies of the government, brothers and sisters, he was feeling hopeless about the situation. 10 years of a government in power, and not that they didn't have policies. They had policies, but the youth of Trinidad and Tobago, the youth of Aranguez and St. Joseph is not being attracted to productive endeavor. A mother told me in St. Joseph, when her son left home that afternoon, the next time she saw her son was on a WhatsApp picture, killed in a police shootout in central Trinidad. They went to rob. The pain of the parent, not just of the youth, not just of the victim, the pain of the parent, the grief, the hopelessness that they feel, brothers and sisters. I want to tell you something. The policies of the United National Congress is going to reverse all of that, brothers and sisters, all of that. We are going to bring back hope into Trinidad and Tobago, into the youth. We are going to restore some sort of hope in this hopelessness that is pervading our society. You know where else is hopeless? AmCham, American Chamber of Commerce, and Ernst & Young did a survey a few weeks ago. 4 out of 5 persons in this country do not believe that their financial situation or the financial situation of the country is going to improve. 79% of the population, hopelessness. Youth, hopelessness. Business sector, hopelessness. Let us look at our national security apparatus, brothers and sisters. Within the last 5 years, 2 police commissioners have been removed under mysterious circumstances. The first one stopped at the president's house. The second one is sitting commissioner of police in her office, removed under circumstances which could only be considered as, I'm trying to find a word for it. We have a SSA, brothers and sisters, the security agency, which was formed in Trinidad and Tobago for gathering of intelligence on criminal activity. Yet, under the National Security Minister, the National Security Ministry, they are now being accused of getting guns and ammunition unlawfully. They are being accused of attempting it, not know anything about it. Hopelessness. There's hopelessness pervading all throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Under a UNC government, our main aim within the first month of getting government, brothers and sisters, a national symposium is going to be called. All stakeholders are going to come together. We are going to plot a way forward with everybody participating to gain back confidence in this country. As I was walking through another part of the constituency, I met a gentleman. It was 6:30. He was hosing on his driveway. We engaged in a conversation. He turned out to be the chairman of what was called the Innovative Council of Trinidad and Tobago. Briefly, this was attached to something called the Economic Advisory Board. He told me in 2008, on the Innovative Index of Trinidad and Tobago, we were ranked number 65 in the world. 182 countries, 65. In 2025, we have been reduced to either 105 or 120. We are not creating, we are not innovating. The young people are leaving this country in droves. There's a brain drain in Trinidad and Tobago. Parents are telling their children, when you leave here, do not come back. Hopelessness. No confidence in economy. No confidence in our young people. A group of students from UE met me last night, late last night. They came and see me. They say, we want a meeting with you. I said, okay. What's on the program? They say, we graduating just now. It had nothing to do. There's nothing to do. There's no work. They're into computer science. There's no technology hub in this country. There's no innovative hub in this country. There's only crime running rampant. People are fleeing hopelessness, brothers. I want to assure you, brothers and sisters of St. Augustine, I want to assure those who are tuning in on the media that I have reviewed the programs, we have sat and we have spoken about it. Trinidad and Tobago is going to flourish once more. Trinidad and Tobago is going to get hope once more. We are going to increase our national security. We're going to increase the opportunities for youth, brothers and sisters. And Trinidad and Tobago is once more going to be restored. We are going to be restored. We are not going to put our eggs in one basket, as some has done. And right now that is being threatened. We are here, brothers and sisters, to tell everybody.
Oh, yes, indeed. Another round of applause for the UNC candidate for Aranguez St. Joseph. And the police is asking that the driver of PDW 1589, again, PDW 1589, please remove your vehicle. Please, it's blocking someone's entrance, please. From the day this next speaker was announced as the UNC candidate for Toko Sandy Grande, he has hit the ground running. He has hit the ground running, knocking on every door. Wayne Sturge is the UNC candidate for Toko Sandy Grande, and he's bringing 28 years of experience as a criminal defense attorney. He serves as joint head of chambers at Regis Chambers and has a distinguished record of public service, including his tenure as an opposition senator from 2015 to 2017. As a former member of the National Carnival Commission, he has demonstrated his deep commitment to cultural development. Also, he has previously occupied the roles of executive member of the Council of the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago, as well as the Criminal Bar Association. UNC family, St. Augustine, please put your hands together and welcome, coming out of his walkabout, the candidate for Toko Sandy Grande, representing the UNC, Mr. Wayne Sturge.
Until the philosophy which hold one race superior and another inferior is finally.
Good night, St. Augustine. Toko Sandy Grande, good night. Ladies and gentlemen, ever since I was announced, I have made an effort to walk all of the electoral districts in Toko Sandy Grande. And I was surprised at how easy it was, deceptively easy. But there are still quite a few die-hard PNM supporters who would try to hold out and tell me why. And tell me why they are still going to vote PNM. I always ask them one question when they say that. Having regard to the last 10 years, and I want you to answer this, having regard to the last 10 years Can any of you give me one good reason why they should get another 5? Well, hear what? Their last argument, the last fig leaf to cover their shame, they say, you know why I'm not voting? Because there's no difference between the PNM and the UNC. You hear lie? So, I had to tell them, no, it's different. And I made a list. Because we are not like them. We are not like them. We choose our leader by a democratic process in internal elections. They choose their leaders at the behest of their 1%ers and their financiers. Why? You ask yourself why in October or November last year, Keith Rowley cancelled the convention. Ask yourself why. Because he got word that Stuart Young does not have the support of the base. So what did he do? He cancelled the convention and prevented the PNM voters from exercising their franchise and foisted his Siamese twin, his Siamese bully twin on us. So we are not like them. In the PNM, not all animals are created equal, as they say in Animal Farm. When the cell phone of a 1%er goes missing, they could find it. When yours lost, it lost. When the vault of a 1% in Westmoreland gets stolen in a home invasion, in 24 hours, and they find it, the police could move mountains. The PNM gets their police to move mountains to find it. When home invasions happen and it's rape and robbery, even with DNA, no justice. But when a 1% is affected, they always bring the perpetrators to justice. When there is a crater or a pothole in Westmoreland or Bayshore or Goodwood Park, it don't live to see 48 hours. But in Milau, Vega de Oropuch, in Balata, in Bwabwande, Northwest, the roads are the worst in this country. And I want to ask you, and just as I asked them, if the roads are so bad, why another 5 years, particularly when Rawan Sinanan is from Sandy Grande. He's the Minister of Road. Especially when his proxy, Mr. Monroe, is from Sandy Grande. And still the worst roads. So you ask me, are all animals equal? Because the PNM, when they say, we love you and they take care of you, they was talking to the 1%ers. They wasn't talking to the ordinary man. And that is what you have to tell them. They are not like us. In the West, water 24/7. 24/7. In Milau, in Vega de Oropuch, where they had no water problems before the PNM came into power, they changed a 4-inch main into a 2-inch main and redirected the water to another settlement. Now they have to buy water. Is that right? You are paying taxes. What is the difference between your taxes and your vote and the vote of the people in Westmoreland and the taxes they pay? But the PNM takes care of their own. Let me tell you how we different. When rich people children get sick, when the financiers children get sick, they can afford to fly them out. When your children get sick, it have no more Children Life Fund, it have no more Coover Children's Hospital, it's cake sale. And you can't have the kind of cake sale like them, because according to them, a cake sale build Balize house, eh? Let me tell you again, Because water, let me go back to water. When Basdio Pandey was saying water for all, which is a fundamental human right that must not be subject to politicization, the PNM demonized the UNC for bringing Severn Trent into Trinidad and Tobago and building a desalination plant and saying you'll get cancer. But did they get rid of it? When they couldn't build an airport, Project Pride, in 5 short years, the UNC built an airport terminal, and they call it a glorified cowshed. Now they are boasting it's the best in the Caribbean. So the PNM always demonize what they cannot do. Let me give you an example how we not like them. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, laptops for all SCA graduates. When they come in, they take it away because the children of poor people must not be on equal footing with the children of the rich. Colm Imbert said 10 years ago in his first budget presentation that we will have free Wi-Fi nationwide in 1 year. Up to now, we ain't get that. And when COVID come, poor people children have no laptop. Poor people children have no free Wi-Fi. So poor people children had to be left behind. Because according to the PNM, the poor people children only good for 10 days on URP. And when the car get 10 days on URP, they had to turn to crime. And they don't care. And when election day, they go come and put $500 in a jersey. They turn the youth of Toko Sandy Grande into hustlers. That is the PNM. Every election. But I want to tell the youth of Toko Sandy Grande that Rawan Sinanan drives a Maybach. That's $5 million. Right. So tell him you don't want no hungry 500. When he come with his stinking 500, tell him at least a 5,000 day. And still vote him out. Let me tell you how we not like them. When it comes to VAT, we remove VAT from thousands of food items. The PNM remove VAT from golfing equipment. The PNM remove VAT for yachties. But poor people had to pay VAT. So when they tell you it's two sides of the same coin, no, we not like them. We not like them. And now we have a bully coming to ask for another 5 years. Today I saw on the front page, I don't buy papers, but I was in Massey. I passed, I see the 2 front page, and I see he say, let's move on. No, time for a new chapter. Because it doesn't benefit him. But what about the life that was destroyed? He had to move on to? What about Short Pants, the Calypsonian who tried to sing and bring up the issue and had to end up leaving, punished, because the father say he had to go, because the father is a big wig. What about that? Is that fair? And now, April 28th, he asking you for another chance to bully we for the next 5 years. Are you going to give him that chance? He asking for another chance because before 2015, his family's business, NCB Global, was no billion-dollar company. But between 2015 and 2025, and almost 200 recusals later, the company is worth $4 billion. They're bullying the friends in the cabinet, they're bullying the taxpayers, and now they're coming back to level more bully and we. Where we go and do them? Ride out, vote them out. I can't take this no more. Ladies and gentlemen, poor people fed up. Let me go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
This one reaching out to all the leaders and media. This is Rodney Price, a.k.a. Poor people governor. Well, poor people fed up. To your system, shake up your issue, gun for whipping me boss. Poor people fed up. To your system, shake up.
Yes. A round of applause for the man, UNC candidate for Toko Sandy Grande. Wayne, you are so correct, my friend. We have seen a little leasing finance company evolve into a merchant bank. And it had people can't even get a little parlor to turn into a mini mart. But these fellas get everything overnight, every single thing. None. Imagine that. Your children ain't good enough to go to Disney World or to study abroad. Yeah? Come April 28th, what we gonna do? That's right, that's right. Keep the licks in the family, all right? Our next speaker is a man who, listen, he has kept us in the know when it comes to what's going on at Petrotrin. He's dedicated himself to public service with a distinguished career spanning both the private and political. He served as the former chairman of MIC Limited, as well as the former chairman of the United National Congress, and currently he holds the esteemed position of deputy political leader of the UNC. UNC family, St. Augustine, the man coming from Claxton Bay, came up here. He has a lot to tell you. Please put your hands together for Dr. David Lee.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins.
Thank you. Thank you. Before I get into my speech here tonight, Page, we live on TV6 right now. We're live on TV6. I want to wish all the viewers on TV6, welcome to Page Main Road. Page is in the house here. I was listening to Dr. Moonilal. He told me raise the tempo, so I'm going to raise the tempo here tonight. I hope I raise it, the lion. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start off by saying, give our MP for St. Augustine a round of applause for the massive crowd, the massive mobilizing that we are seeing witness here on the bus route. Tonight I was driving up here and I want to say good night to our political leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa. Give her a round of applause. She's locked on and listening and viewing. I was coming up on the bus route just now and Stuart Young was flying down on the bus route. And he was really flying because when he saw this massive crowd, he had to fly. And I was waiting my turn to come on and speak here tonight. And someone who was with him in the crowd, he walked into Napuna with Desmond Ford this afternoon. And the person was telling me that 90% of the people did not come out and greet Stuart Young. The people who were in their cars did not even turn down their glass to greet Stuart Young. That tells you on April the 28th, we will give Stuart Young a licking of his life. So when I was coming down, the speed that Stuart Young was going down, he knew I was speaking here tonight. He know the real Chinese coming up in Page to talk tonight. The real Chinese. It I know this Chinese born on Henry Street. I was born in the Martin. Now Stuart Young say he born on Henry Street. And I'll tell you where he born in Henry Street. There was a nursing home on the Oxford and Henry Street. He was born in. That's why he's saying he born in Henry Street. It's not Victoria Gardens. He grew up in Victoria Gardens. I'll leave for you to talk about Lal Bihari, Dr. Moonilal and Khadijah. Tonight, my brothers and sisters, we join on the election battlefield. On the walls of the PNM government are crumbling. Their grip on power is ending. And their reign of misery on us as a people of this nation is coming to an end on April the 28th at 6 p.m., my brothers and sisters. Tonight, I call on every UNC supporter to stand proud because on Tuesday this week, this country saw proof that Stuart Young is no match for Kamala Prasad Bisesa. He collapsed after 24 hours. Now Stuart Young, as Arnold in the crowd here saying small pin. Stuart Young, he told his new cabinet he wanted to take a little cricket match. And he said, well, I could take a bowl against Kamala. So he asked Kamala, he batted and he's so greedy he wanted to go first. So he asked Kamala, what kind of ball you going and bowl me? She said, the Chinaman. And she out his wicket right after at 3:45 p.m. on Tuesday. Stuart Young and his government could not survive 48 hours against Kamala and the UNC. Stuart Young swore in a cabinet at 3 p.m. on Monday. On Monday, he swore in his new cabinet, and by 3:50 p.m. the next day on Tuesday, he was forced to dissolve and mash up Parliament. On Monday, Young and his government stood in the President's house promising prosperity and progress. He told us that. But after they listened to the leader of the opposition on Monday night in Brazil, in La Joqueta Talparo, a bumper crowd we had up there, the very next day on Tuesday, the only option Stuart Young had was to call an election. Trinidad and Tobago, do not be fooled into thinking that shutting down the Parliament was a planned strategic move by Young and Rowley. They were caught napping after Kamala caught them on Monday night, and after Moonilal put a licking on Stuart Young, they had to call election the next day. You can't, let me tell you something. Rowley thought he was giving a man, he gave a boy to do a man job there. That's why he couldn't last. He could not last against the pressure of Imbert and Foster and those others. He couldn't do it. He couldn't stand up to Imbert, and he wanted to come and lead you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, for 5 years. Run him. Never in the history, listen to this, never in the history of minister politics has a prime minister been appointed one day and the very next day dissolve Parliament. As a country, ask yourself, which prime minister does not want to go to Parliament to contribute and to be recorded on Hansard? A prime minister like Young, who boastful, one who was not elected, but rather coronated. So we had the cuckoo king coronating the Chinese boy. You know, he called it, I didn't say it, Rowley say he's the cuckoo man. As a country, ask yourself, which prime minister with 4 months of parliamentary time left, 4 months left in Parliament before the session ends, does not want to go to Parliament with legislation to improve the lives of you, the citizens. A prime minister like Young, one who has failed in every single government portfolio that he has held. The reality is, Young's mashing up of Parliament was caused by his inability to have any defense, response, or credible answers to the question raised by the UNC. Young knew he could not risk going to Parliament because the opposition would have made him account for his records. Young knew he couldn't risk going to Parliament because we in the opposition would expose the unlawful nature of his appointment. Young knew he couldn't risk going to Parliament because he does not have the full support and protection of his own members. On his own members, like Young got wind that Kamala was going to bring a motion of no confidence in his tail, and he dissolved Parliament. And you know why Kamala would have bring that motion of no confidence? Because she might have been told by his own members to bring it. So he ran. For the last 10 years, Keith Rowley told us that Stuart Young was his Gary Sobers of the cabinet. Yet this week, the first bell that rung, Young couldn't stand up to the test of Imbert and Foster. He had to dissolve Parliament. Keith Rowley has spent the last 10 years misleading this country to believe that he was the grand defender of our Constitution and the pillar of patriotism. You know, Rowley like to say he's the best patriot we have in this country. He and Young. Every word come out of Young mouth, he's a patriot. But he's fooling the people. Trinidad and Tobago, no other prime minister has attacked and disregarded the independent institutions of our nation like Rowley and Young and his government. In the last week, you saw the greatest assault on this nation's democracy when Rowley imposed someone who was not selected by his own party or elected by you, the people of this nation, to lead our development. In the last week, Rowley and Young had made a mockery of the PNM and the Constitution and the President. Why would you make the President prepare instruments of appointment and use thousands of dollars of taxpayers' money for a swearing in if you were planning to dissolve the Parliament within 24 hours? He had a big soiree on Monday. He fly down his brother. He fly down his sister-in-law. He bring in his mother. He bring in his father. They put on a nice suit. And in 24 hours, he dissolved Parliament. And they want to tell you and fool you and tell you it was strategic. It is because they have failed as a government and Stuart Young had to call election. Now I understand Rowley call him and buff him up. Rowley say, Stuart, I call you my Gary Sobers. You didn't even give me 24 hours to play a good round of golf. Oh, Jesus Christ, I had to go back and work. And that is what is happening here, ladies and gentlemen. On Sunday in Woodford Square, I felt sorry for Keith Rowley. Because after 10 years as Prime Minister, his own political base could not even rally behind him to full Woodford Square. It was a ghost town in Woodford Square on Sunday. On Sunday, I felt embarrassed for Keith Rowley because after 10 years, all he could do was to carry us down the same foolishness that he talks since 2016. But that is Rowley's specialty. He and the PNM like to carry Trinidad and Tobago down a rabbit hole. They like to rile up the population on witch hunts and allegations to distract the country from what they are really doing. Tonight I want to ask the country, where was the logic in Rowley resigning Sunday for the Prime Minister to dissolve the Parliament in 48 hours? I want the country to ask themselves, why didn't Rowley simply stay on as Prime Minister, dissolve the Parliament on Tuesday just as what Young did, and then allow Young to lead the campaign? You know why? He did not want to play golf undisturbed. Rowley and Young orchestrated this entire assault on your democracy so that Stuart Young could eat a food with the Prime Minister's salary. The opposition leader called them out before she told you that all Young had to do was serve one day, and you will receive the pension, the Prime Minister's salary for life. And you know what? He did that. In 24 hours, he called an election. So Kamla Prasad Bisesa is always right once more. We keep doubting that lady. On Sunday, Rowley riled you up as a population and went down the rabbit hole, OAS, OAS, OAS. And I'm sure Dr. Moonilal will come here and talk the truth about OAS. But what is the real bubble was grounded in the fact that your children and grandchildren would be forced to pay Stuart Young a pension of $87,000 per month for his rest of his life after serving one day. The very same government that wants to take away your pension, you know, your pension once you have over $25,000 saved in your bank for a rainy day. And we thought, the opposition thought, at least Stuart Young would have come to the Parliament and removed that dreaded bill, that motion to take away a pension from the order paper. At least as a minimum, he would have done that. So you know what that tells me, ladies and gentlemen? Once you put back the PNM, they are coming for your pension. Do not take God out of your thought. Do not. On Sunday, I honestly thought that because Rowley was leaving office, the country might finally witness an honest, sane, and calm contribution based on facts. But Rowley's speech was like all of his other speeches in the last 10 years. It was a collection of distorted untruths and fictional madness. Tonight, I must clear the record. On Sunday, he boasted that the opposition never brought a motion of no confidence against him. We didn't have to do that. We didn't have to bring a motion of no confidence on him. He alone brought it on himself and he resigned Sunday. We didn't have to bring a motion of no confidence. He shut down Petrotrin. So he has done his own motion of no confidence on himself. Tonight I want to remind, you know, Rowley like to talk about UNC and we so and we this and we that. I want to remind Rowley of something because he like to call my name and I have no doubt he will call David Lee's name soon. On Sunday, Rowley tried to fool our country as he left office into thinking that he ran a government that had no scandals. Let us remind him. Tonight I want to remind him how the late Marlene MacDonald fired twice from your cabinet. On one instance, she was appointed Friday, and by Saturday, she gone. Tonight, I want to remind him of the Darrell Smith report that Anil always talk about. Tonight I want to remind him of the Laura Lizama leasing. Didn't she resign from the Senate last year? I want to remind him of what a fella down in Sawa Barataria, he was a senator called Hafiz Ali, about a video. I want to remind Rowley about the Malcolm Jones and the waste of money that they did on Petrotrin. That is why Petrotrin had to close down today, my brothers and sisters. I want to remind Rowley about the Nelson Gate. I want to remind the country of the sitting Minister of Public Utilities who was demoted from finance. He was demoted from finance. Imbert. Didn't the Privy Council say, the lady judge, say we need to investigate Imbert? Don't be fooled by Rowley, my brothers and sisters. Don't be fooled. During last Sunday's rally, I thought Stuart Young was in a play. I thought he was in a play in Napa because he has given promises. I know he couldn't keep the promises. He given promises and he's talking like he would rather die for the people of this nation and he would fight for the sovereignty of your soul of this nation. What Rowley say about that? That is what? Cocky pot? Cockle, some kind of thing he is. Poppycock. That is a lot of poppycock by Stuart Young. A lot. Stuart Young saying he's a pan lover. What the hell are you hearing here? He's a pan lover. Stuart Young don't know what pan is. You know what rock music is. You ain't know about wrong. You ain't know about pan. But it sounds good to say he's a pan lover. Right? Last Sunday we heard Young's fake outrage when he told the country he was infuriated by the Piaco's airport costs, hence he joined the PNM. You hear chippiness? But it's the same Stuart Young who had no problem when NGC, under his tenureship, wasted $240 million of your money on Train 1. It is the same Stuart Young had no problem when Rowley would spend millions on Casabon paintings for that residence. I hope when Rowley left, he leave the Casabon paintings. In the last few weeks, I have seen Young boasted about reforming education sector. So for 10 years, he was there as the Gary Sobers. He didn't know about the education sector. He didn't think it needed reforming. For 10 years, he was with Rowley. They closed down the hospitality school in Chagaramas, and then they want to talk about Rowley opening the airport in Tobago and say they will bring back sandals. What stupidness we hear in here? Don't be fooled. If you ever wanted to know the meaning of our pickup side, just look at Young cabinet. As Dr. Moonilal tell you, they move a man from national security and they put him in the office of the Prime Minister and they have a big couch, he go in and sleep. I don't even think he realized that Parliament dissolved. I think he's still sleeping on our couch. Imagine the new Attorney General, based on the Trinidad Express, and I know Saddam talked about it, which was Camille. When the last time she practiced law, they had no cell phones in this country or no Wi-Fi. That's the last time I understand she practiced law. We didn't have cell phone and Wi-Fi. Right? So that is the Attorney General for Stuart Young. Then they bring a man, Stuart Young bring a man from England called Dan Paul. I know Dan Paul. I want to tell all you I know that. I went to school in CIC with Dan Paul. In my days, we didn't do any bullying in CIC. I don't know what happened when Stuart Young went into CIC, but in my days, we didn't have bullying in CIC. But I know Dan Paul. Dan Paul is a product of the PNM. He is a PNM. So don't let us be fooled and come and tell him front page, no hardship under me. Meaning, he's the Minister of Finance and there'll be no hardship. He was the permanent secretary under Imbert when they shut down Petrotrin. He is the chairman of the refinery committee that is bringing and awarded the Petrotrin refinery to a company called in Nigeria, Oando, which is a failing oil company in Nigeria. So, if Dan Paul want to get in the Gael, we will get in the Gael with Dan Paul. So, let us not be fooled. My time is coming to an end. And they have a man called Imbert. Imbert, I always said, and I am correct, Imbert could have never sat in a cabinet and called in Stuart Young, Prime Minister Young. If anybody know Imbert not subjecting himself in calling Young Prime Minister Young. When do you think I can meet with you to discuss water rates and tea and tech rates? And then Young will say, well, I have to check my schedule, Imbert, and I will get back to you. You ever could see that madness happening with Imbert, Dr. Moonilal? Never in this world, Imbert. So you know who collapsed our government besides Kamla? Imbert collapsed that government. Imbert. So don't take God out of your thought. Let me tell you something as I come to an end. Tonight, I am proud of my sister Khadijah Ameen in St. Augustine. The kind of crowd we are witnessing here tonight as we open the battle for election, it will tell me we will keep growing as we go along for the next 40 days. We have 39 days, I think, and counting. Tonight, I am proud of the work of our party has done. I am proud of the vision and direction of our leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and her selfless work she has done over the last 10 years in opposition. As a party, we can confirm that United Congress, National Congress, is ready to win. The fact is the UNC has been leading a campaign for years, now just before not just before election. In the last 2 years, you have seen our anti-crimes and health tongue meetings. Devo was in there, Devesh Maharaj. Those were geared to create our vision for crime. That is why the leader has put over 70 plans to address crime and health. In the last few months, we have seen our constant meetings with the unions as we craft the workers' agenda and form strong bonds with the labor movement. They are afraid of us forming that movement with the labor. As a party, we didn't wait on the election bell to place candidates in key marginals. That was done in advance. We have placed some of the most dynamic and high-caliber candidates in these marginals as we work to secure our victory. The UNC is ready to win, but most importantly, when the UNC wins, every one of us in this compound wins. As a country, you can be guaranteed that when the UNC wins, your homes will be free from property tax. When the UNC wins, you can be assured that businesses will grow and will cut business taxes and incentivize the economy. When the UNC wins, you can be assured of proper cancer treatment, dialysis, and NCD treatment as we work to improve our health care. When the UNC wins, you can be assured of more money in your pocket as we will reduce VAT on 7,000 food items. When the UNC wins, you can be assured of laptops for all your children and places in schools and more scholarships. When the UNC wins, your safety will be returned with our stand the ground legislation. On April the 28th will mark the most important day on our nation's recent history. It is a day we must decide between the crisis and chaos of the PNM or the plans to rebuild our TNT under the UNC. April the 28th is the day you decide between Young's selfish, inexperienced leadership or Kamla's visionary, tested, and progress-driven government. Let us win with the UNC, because when the UNC win, everybody wins in Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Yes, once again, a round of applause for UNC Deputy Political Leader, Dr. David Lee. Yes. You better believe it. Folks, our next speaker really and truly signifies humility. This is a lady who basically lets you know when people run them out, she runs her business. She came through the rank and file, a true fighter. Her political journey began with grassroots activism and a strong commitment to community service, leading her to election as a local government councillor for St. Augustine South at the age of 28. Ms. Ameen made history as the youngest person to be elected as chairman of the Tunapuna-Piarco Regional Corporation. She's a proud mother of one, very proud mother of one. And when we say humility, this is a young lady after meetings would pack away chairs, grab a broom, because she never believed that she was better than anyone else. everyone on the same level, same approach, same equality. And her leadership in local government extended to national advocacy, where she served as special advisor to the Minister of Local Government. You know who I'm talking about? Where are we tonight? So who am I talking about? Well, let's not waste time, man. Victory is a must. Put your hands together and welcome our host, the MP for St. Augustine, Miss Khadijah. Ameen.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can build, place your ex by the right.
I want us to say it together. When UNC wins, everybody wins. My friends, my brothers and sisters, before I even welcome the MPs, you see the people of St. Augustine? I want to say a special good night. I want you to make some noise all over the bus route, all across my Mahabir's car park. Make some noise, St. Augustine! My friends, as we gather here tonight in St. Augustine, I want to show off a little bit. I want to tell you that the United National Congress is ready to win and take back government. It's no secret that for the last 10 years, the PNM has destroyed our nation. So while Keith Rowley is seeking to destroy our democracy by putting a prime minister on us who we never vote for, we must tell them, no way. I want to tell all you something. For all who are concerned about, oh gosh, they call the election just so. They call the election because Kamla Prasad Bisesa forced them to. They call the election because they know that the appointment of Stuart Young would have been unconstitutional if Keith Rowley did not either resign as political leader of the PNM or if they did not dissolve Parliament and call the elections. So we must thank Kamla Prasad Bisesa to making them call the elections now. And I want to tell all you a little secret, a little inside information. I want to tell all you that while the PNM and all them little grasshopper haters was out there fighting Kamla Prasad Bisesa, you know what she was doing? She was focused. Do you know that the UNC pre-booked and paid down on all general election 2025 media bookings already? I'm talking about TV, radio, social media. Not yesterday, not last month, since October 2024. So today I'm telling you, you know what's happening now? The PNM is begging the UNC to give up media spots that Kamla Prasad Bisesa already paid for, that already booked, because they called the election without making any of those bookings. So who is not ready now? The UNC is ready and we are going to win. But tonight, I want to deal with this fella they call Stuart Young. I don't even have it in me to call him honorable right now. Information is coming out about Stuart Young's behavior as a student of St. Mary's College. Two of my brothers went to St. Mary's College. And when I share about this man's behavior, I so shame. This information really raising serious concerns about this man's suitability to be a leader. There's a journalist named Lasana Liebert. All ever hear about him? He was a student of St. Mary's College at the time when the incident with Stuart Young and another student took place, a bullying incident. So Lasana Liebert and other persons, including relatives of the victim, are now talking out. This incident, they say it's 33 years ago. This incident was so important that it made the newspapers, not one day article, several days. Because there was the report and then the school responded and a back and forth. It was a big thing. Imran Khan, a young student, endured relentless bullying from Stuart Young. In fact, the witnesses and people who are coming out now are saying this was pure torment. You know what else is significant? The complaints, not one complaint, repeated complaints were unaddressed. But at the time of the incident, Stuart Young's father, Richard Young, the big banker now, was a member of the college board. My question is, did that shield Stuart Young from the consequences of his actions? While Imran Khan, a bright, friendly student from modest beginnings, was left defenseless. And according, now the journalist Lasana Liebert came out and he said, you know what he said? He basically said, it is hard for me to abide by misinformation. I'm reading his words. And he claimed that Young never had interactions with the boy before the unprovoked attack. In other words, don't lie about it. The attack was not unprovoked, and it was not one occasion. So don't let them put any spin on it to say that Stuart Young didn't provoke the man. Lasana Liebert said in his article that Khan was pushed to retaliation. And you know what happened? After that incident, that child, Imran Khan, did not get to write CXC exams. Can you imagine how this would affect a person, any person, in their life? Because of Stuart Young's bullying, and then he gone on to lead his privileged life. Now, I watch a part of the press conference today. I couldn't stomach to watch the whole thing. I watched part of it. In his response today, at no time did Stuart Young take ownership of the situation. You cannot, when asked to apologize, say, well, I apologize to every child in the world who was ever bullied in the whole history of the universe. That is nonsense. He's a mama pool man. People want you to apologize for what you did. Accept what you did. Take ownership and apologize. I hear him saying, that was 33 years ago. Listen, a mature, responsible individual will take ownership of wrongdoing and apologize unreservedly. That response is childish, immature, and I say once again, Stuart Young, you have refused to do what is right. You have refused to apologize. But you know what he has not done? He has not denied that it happened. So maybe I'm telling you something today. Stuart Young, the bully of 33 years ago, we cannot dismiss his actions and say, oh, he was a child. Because I am telling you, that man has grown into a bigger bully today. There is a pattern of bullying from the classroom go right up in his entire history. Stuart Young's behavior as an adult mirrors his behavior in his school days. There were instances of intimidation, verbal aggression, dismissiveness towards his opponents. He has this arrogance, this hostility, and it is evident in his treatment, even today, of journalists, political opponents. Or ever see that man comments on social media, his posts, you see how he does, as a big government minister, run down a small man and attack them on social media, on Facebook. If you're doing your work, you wouldn't have time for that. You are a bully. You are a child. My friends, I want to tell you, very recently, you will remember, during the October budget debate, there was an infamous hot mic situation where the Parliament's microphone captured Stuart Young verbally molesting members of the opposition. I'm trying to put it nicely. He was verbally molesting members of the opposition. And he also used obscene language. In that clip, you heard him saying unspeakable things. I don't want to repeat it. You heard him using obscene language, and we heard Imbert and his other colleagues giggling in the background. You know why? They are accustomed to Stuart Young behavior. They are accustomed to his abusive, obscene behavior. This man regularly uses obscene language. He is accustomed to being abusive, to molesting people across the floor in Parliament. Listen, as a young woman, I have sat across the floor from Stuart Young for the past 4.5 years, and he is constantly attacking our women and as well as our men. He has attacked Vandana Mohit, Michelle Benjamin, myself, and we sit right there. But he has not left out anybody. He is constantly like a bad child, always attacking somebody. His comments are so disgusting, my friends, tonight. I don't even want to repeat it for you tonight. But I want to tell you that in Parliament, you have seen his behavior. This is not Khadijah Ameen telling you this. This is not the UNC creating a narrative. You, Trinidad and Tobago, you have seen Stuart Young's behavior in Parliament, where he is condescending, where he is dismissive, where he refuses to answer pressing questions to the public with any sincerity, where he has a tendency to mock anybody who opposes him and displays this sense of entitlement. Stuart Young has this elitist attitude, and maybe because of his privileged background, he feels he's better than everybody else. If you want to see a condescending bully, just look at the comments on his social media page when somebody agree with him. Call him small pen, you will see what happens. Call him out on something that he does wrong. You will see him jump in your inbox, jump on your comments, and start a thing like he have no time. He have all the time on his hands. And I ask you, is this the behavior of a leader? Is this the behavior of a prime minister? A prime minister of a country must have respect for all citizens in society. And I'm talking about every creed, every race, every socio-economic background, rich, middle class, poor, and especially the most vulnerable in society. How can you be that if you are bullying the most vulnerable? Stuart Young's history of bullying and disrespect towards our women and arrogance goes completely against those principles. This is the Prime Minister that Keith Rowley has imposed on us. But I want to tell you that the rise in power of Stuart Young does not erase the harm he has done in the past. Not to Imran Khan, not to anybody else that he has bullied, and certainly not to Trinidad and Tobago. It does not absolve him of the responsibility. He is still culpable. And you know, this brings me now as a mother, I'm really speaking from my heart. The impact of bullying on our children is serious as it is today, as it was 33 years ago. Now listen, man. I listened to this press conference, and this man tried to tell me that he is being bullied on social media. After you bully a child 33 years ago, cause the child to drop out of school, not write CXC. After you spend your whole life being arrogant and a bully, you tell me something walking on me. Wait. That had to be a UNCB. The honey. So I'm saying that Stuart Young, who spent all his time bullying people, is now coming to tell us today, trying to spin in the media, that people bullying him online. All they don't bully the man, I want to tell you, young Imran Khan didn't get to write CXC. 33 years ago. Today, a few months ago, Jaden Lalchan committed suicide. Abigail Leja, a 12-year-old student from Providence Girls High School, also took her life after enduring relentless bullying. And my friends, I have spoken about situations in St. Augustine constituency where parents have shared their daughters who are victims of sexual abuse in the schools by bullies. Parents are seeking transfers in groves because of the inaction of this government, now led by Stuart Young. We see the impact of bullying in schools, and Stuart Young, who refused to take accountability for his actions 33 years ago, was the Minister of National Security. And I say, what have you done to deal with bullies? Stuart Young was the Minister of National Security from 2018, not yesterday, 2018. What did he ever do to protect our children from bullies in the school? Not a thing. There has been so many anti-bullying campaigns by NGOs and parents and schools, and I commend them. You ever see Stuart Young supporting any of these causes? But today, all of a sudden, he wants to tell you, we should not judge him on an incident that took place 33 years ago, but all of a sudden, he could talk about anti-bullying and against domestic violence. I want to deal with him. So when you hear Stuart Young with this sudden concern for women who are victims of domestic violence and children who have been bullied, I know he can't be serious. He wake up yesterday and we didn't born yesterday. So under Stuart Young's watch, the Minister of National Security, he was Minister of National Security, You know how many women were victims of domestic violence and how many children were victims of bullies, and even relatives of murder victims got no justice when they reported their issues to the authorities. And who was Minister of National Security? The same Stuart Young. And in fact, now I have been very outspoken about crime in St. Augustine. And when constituents come and tell me that they have been victims of home invasion, bullying, domestic violence, and they refuse to pursue the matter because, first of all, it takes a long time to get justice. And the police very often don't have resources. They don't have vehicles to even respond to incidents. And who is the Minister of National Security? Stuart Young. When our citizens make a police report and the perpetrators are notified before they even leave the station, causing our victims and our witnesses to be in danger of the perpetrators coming back for them, who is the National Security Minister? Stuart Young. Today, after his verbal molestation of female parliamentarians, he, with his track record, wants to come and tell our nation that he cares about women, victims of domestic violence, and about children who are victims of bullying. You hear lie? That is lie. So today, my friends, I tell you, Stuart Young has refused to take responsibility and apologize. And this, my friends, is just a pattern. It's just a pattern in the behavior throughout the years. He has been a consistent bully. And now we understand why he is the #1 choice for Keith Rowley to choose to replace him as acting Prime Minister. Two bullies together. Keith Rowley, the bully, has replaced himself with Stuart Young, the bully. And I hear Stuart Young trying to get the, what is his name? Scotland. I hear Scotland trying to get in the bullying too. But we'll leave that for another night. I want to say tonight, all those people in the PNM who staying quiet, you remember when they said they put in Stuart Young as Prime Minister, how much of them in the PNM jump up and objected to it? You remember all the supporters of Penelope Beckles, all the supporters of Foster Cummings who want to be the next leader of the PNM. Amory Brown, where me fly down from foreign ministry. Where them now? Where them? I want to say tonight to the PNM, all those who are staying quiet because of party loyalty, I want to tell you, say your prayers. God don't sleep. Your party loyalty cannot outweigh your moral responsibility. You cannot sleep with evil and expect good to prevail. Where are all of your voices in the PNM? All those people who objected to Stuart Young because you know that he is unfit, because you know that he is incompetent, because you know he's an immature bully. Where are your voices after Stuart Young was gifted Prime Minister? Why are you suddenly silent? I feel these fellas are being bullied by the political leader of the PNM. Because all of them had their opinion, and all of them get called into a room, and it was the greatest maneuver before the carnival. Keith Rowley, the leader of the PNM, has bullied his entire cabinet into staying silent and accepting Stuart Young to be gifted the Prime Ministership of Trinidad and Tobago. And I agree with our previous speakers. They had to call the election because Stuart Young cannot hold it together. They cannot. They didn't plan to have this election. They have not booked a single spot for media. And UNC booked all. We are ready. We are ready. I want to remind Trinidad and Tobago. You see this massive crowd in St. Augustine? I know you are UNC. I know you are UNC and proud. But I want to talk to those people on the outside. I want to remind you, Keith Rowley is still the leader of the PNM. Parliament has been dissolved. In this election race, it is the UNC against the PNM. The political leaders that you, Trinidad and Tobago, have to choose between is Keith Rowley and Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Whose leadership traits do you prefer? Do you prefer a man who is a bully? Do you prefer a man who is arrogant? Or do you prefer a woman who leads with compassion, who cares about our children, who has increased pension, who has given laptops to children, who has expanded medical services in hospitals? Do you want to go for a woman who has built the Coover Children's Hospital? Do you want to go for a woman who has done incredible infrastructural developments throughout Trinidad and Tobago? That is your choice. In the words of Patrick Manning, I never thought I would be quoting this man and boasting. He said, we do not tolerate bullying in the secondary school system, and we are not tolerating bullying in the cabinet now. Patrick Augustus Mervyn Manning. Well, may his soul rest in peace. And let me add, we in the United National Congress will not tolerate bullying in the Parliament either. On April 28th, we must all, Trinidad and Tobago, say no to bullying with our index finger. We must say no to the dictatorship. We must say no to the illegal appointment of a Prime Minister with our index finger. We must remove Rowley. Stuart Young is not in charge, you know. Stuart Young not in charge. He's just a little puppet in front there. He's a little boy, a little child. They put him in front there. But the real bully is in charge. We must remove Rowley the bully and Stuart Young the younger bully. Trinidad and Tobago, my friends, we deserve by now a Prime Minister who leads with wisdom and empathy and respect and care. We deserve a Prime Minister like Kamala Persad-Bissessar, and we will only get that when we vote for every UNC candidate throughout this country. Tonight, I want to thank you, St. Augustine. St. Augustine is in good hands. All you know, I don't make joke. My name is Khadijah Ameen, and I mean business. Thank you.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Ah, yes, folks. Another round of applause. St. Augustine. Khadijah, Ameen. Yes, we have a lot of folks streaming. If you can, of course, take out your phones, go on the UNC page and share the live. Share the live, St. Augustine. Please share the live. We want to live better. And under UNC government led by Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, we will live better. Our next speaker is a distinguished academic, researcher, and politician with a career spanning decades in public service and industrial relations. He is a former Minister of Housing and Urban Development. He also served as leader of government business and played a key role in modernizing parliamentary procedures. He currently serves as a deputy political leader of the United National Congress under the distinguished leadership of political leader Kamala Prasad-Bissessar. He's a father. He's also a chutney singer. And he's a respected lecturer, a published researcher, a lawyer, and an advocate for workers' rights across the Caribbean. I will say it and you fill in the blanks. Tonight the lion roars in St. Augustine. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about? Dr. Roodal Moonilal.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mikey, for that very warm welcome to this podium. Brothers and sisters assembled here in your thousands, give yourselves a round of applause. This is one of the biggest political meetings we have seen in some time. It signals the beginning of our campaign with an election declared. Brothers and sisters, let me begin acknowledging our great political leader, Member of Parliament for Siparia, Leader of the Opposition, former Prime Minister, and after April 28, the next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bissessar. May I also acknowledge the presence of my parliamentary colleagues, members of the local government fraternity assembled here, members of the UNC National Executive, members of the constituency of St. Augustine, surrounding areas with us tonight. May I also acknowledge the presence of former government minister and former chairman of the United National Congress, the Honorable Austin Jack Warner, former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Senator Wade Stephen Mark, former ministers of government who are here tonight with us. Several former ministers are here. Candidates, several candidates are here. We have already acknowledged some. Later we will acknowledge all. And I want to tell Mikey K, he mixed up somebody here and calling me, because we have here the former Chutney King of Trinidad and Tobago, Adesh Samaru, is also here. And he's a real singer. Brothers and sisters, we are streaming live on several social media platforms. We are also live on IETV. We are live on TV6. We have online at this moment over 6,000 viewers online. We are on radio. We are on the airways. We are in your hearts tonight. And we are ready. So if the PNM is not ready, the UNC is ready, and we are on the ground. They are scrunting, they are begging, they are going to all our activists and asking them to speak to the leaders of this party, the leader and others, begging for spots on radio and TV, because the media has gone UNC with all their coverage. Brothers and sisters, I want to welcome folks throughout the Caribbean, our CARICOM brothers and sisters who have taken a keen interest in this transition in Trinidad and Tobago to the next government of the United National Congress. Welcome our brothers and sisters in Canada, Vindra in Miami, who listened on Monday as well and tonight would be listening with her family there. Our friends in New York, our family, our supporters, well-wishers throughout North America and Europe who are tuning this evening. We want to welcome you. This evening we meet on sacred ground. St. Augustine is the heart of the UNC on the East-West Corridor. Tonight, St. Augustine is telling the country, when the UNC wins, everyone wins. A special welcome this evening, you know. I see some of these dissident fellas and think, somebody said that they resign. Parliament dissolved 12 o'clock on Tuesday, a fella resigned Wednesday morning. But there's nothing to resign from, you gone already? Fella say he resigned, but Parliament end 12 o'clock midnight, there's nothing to resign from. He gone. That is the point, you know. The fella pay cut at 12 midnight. So he said, well, me have nothing to stay for now, I resign. Because he don't get his money and gone. So brothers and sisters, tonight a special lady in our audience. Could you all welcome a former protocol officer of the former Prime Minister Patrick Manning, a constituency executive, member of the PNM for many years, who have now joined us in San Fernando East, join us in Pache. Welcome our sister Wendy Lewis, who is here with us this evening. And Wendy is working with Maka in San Fernando East, who will become the next member of Parliament for San Fernando East, brothers and sisters. Tonight I've been hearing about this, Jacka hearing about this cricket analogy and so on. Now I know cricket good, eh? I know cricket good. So people who don't know cricket, I will tell you something. Rowley calls Stuart Young, he Gary Sobers. Now fellas who young like me, all you may remember or not, in 1968 in a test match in Port of Spain, and nobody here might know that, they had a famous test match. I think it was the fourth test match in Port of Spain. The West Indies made 526 runs in a first innings. Like plenty runs. England went on to make 404 runs in their first innings. Gary Sobers was the captain. You know what he do? And in the West Indies second innings, it was 92 for 2. Rohan Kanhai was not out. He declared the innings. You know England going on to beat the West Indies and win the series? That was called the infamous Sobers Declaration. I want to tell you something. 52 years ago now, we had on Tuesday a Sobers Declaration, and he will lose the general election. The man they had a swearing in on Monday and a swearing out on Tuesday. This is the first man that will be Prime Minister of this country who will not see inside the Parliament as a Prime Minister. Let me tell you something. In the airport, they put up all the Prime Minister picture. You know that? Under every Prime Minister, Eric Williams, Chambers, Robinson, and so on, they put the date they serve. So you will see 1986 to 1981, Mr. Pandey, this to that, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa, that to that. What they're going to put on the Stuart Young picture? He was Prime Minister from March 2025 to April 2025. That's what they're going to put there? Lambert? President Lambert? That's what they will put. The fella will not see inside the Parliament as Prime Minister. He will go in the airport for 1 month. On there they'll put 1 month he was Prime Minister. But Rowley put him there. Rowley didn't have the mouth to call election. He wanted to give Stuart Young $87,000 a month for the rest of his life. So Rowley couldn't wait 6 weeks to call election. He put Stuart Young there. That is what they have done, brothers and sisters. And when you couldn't get a food card, you couldn't get a hamper, you lost your job, you couldn't provide books for your children, he going with $87,000. Tonight I want to call on all these great lawyers, the brilliant lawyers on the UNC bench and supporters, always start devising some legislative change to deal with that one. That is a travesty of democracy and justice, and we must deal with it. We must confront it. You cannot have that.
And in 24 hours, his government collapsed. They collapsed, they imploded in 24 hours. They put a whole cabinet together. What that cabinet doing? Them fellas will not even find the minister office. They will not even find where the washroom is. And they have to demit office. That fella named Vishnu Danpal, he's a PNM, everybody know that. Brothers and sisters, he will become the first finance minister of this country never to deliver a budget speech. When he go deliver the budget speech in the parlor in Paje, when we go deliver that in the restaurant, he will never deliver a budget speech in his life, and he will be a former minister of finance. This is the joke that they have put us through. Brothers and sisters, this is what they are doing. So the Stuart Young cannot run the country for 24 hours, and now we come in to tell you, give him 5 years. But he can't run the country for 24 hours, you know. Now he want what, 5 years? Every day his army is being depleted when the others, many others are joining us, brothers and sisters, in this remarkable ascendancy led by the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa is on the verge of history. She is on the verge of history to return as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And I'll speak specifically about her role and her readiness in a few moments, brothers and sisters. So what I want to tell you tonight is they have collapsed. Have you seen the wake they had on Sunday, the funeral? Tonight we have 3 times the amount of people in Paje than they had in Woodford Square. 3 times. You know, I tell people, when you have a new political, look at people, even I now amazed with the screen. Look at that. And that is not a file photo, you know. That is real and live. Brothers and sisters, they had a meeting at Woodford Square. Do you know when a party change leader and so on, Stuart Young comes, he's of course a new leader. Normally you will think that the party will have some bounce, you know, they'll get a bounce or something. Them get bounced down. Didn't get bounce, they get bounced down. The party is deflated. Their cabinet is split. Their coalition is falling apart. They cannot manage the affairs of the country. Parliament gone, dissolved, closed down. But even before Parliament was dissolved, anybody know when Parliament meet last? Parliament has not been meeting. February 5th, we met. Before that in January, and only for 2 emergency issues. The state of emergency, which you had to meet, and the appointment of the Commissioner of Police, which you had to meet again. They have no agenda, no policy, no program, no legislation to take to the people. This is a new Prime Minister. Khadijah and others said it. You would think they would have now to come to Parliament and say, this is a new Prime Minister. We have new legislation, fresh policy and so on. They have nothing, brothers and sisters. They have nothing. And they are deflated. Today, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa has won another major victory for democracy. When Stuart Young conceded, put his tail between his legs and understood that we must have international observers for the election. You remember what Rowley said, you know, Stuart Young will not tell you that, but I want to remind you because I was there. And I reached the stage now where I don't forget easily. That might happen in the future, but not now. In Parliament, you know what Rowley said, the Hansard is there. He said, I will invite CARICOM. We don't need Commonwealth. We don't need Carter Center and all of them. We don't want them to tell us how to run an election. CARICOM is enough. You all forget that, you know. Today they put the tail between their legs because of the pressure of Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the United National Congress. They were never going to invite Commonwealth, Carter Center and OAS and so on. They were never doing it. It is the pressure. And CARICOM, with all respect to all the people in CARICOM and so on, do never forget, CARICOM had certified the Guyana election in 2020 as fair, as proper, as free. And when CARICOM certified that, the Carter Center said it was the most transparent attempt to thief an election they have ever seen. Never forget that. So we have concerns with that CARICOM, not the people of CARICOM, but that institution. We have concerns with that. And Mrs. Prasad Bisesa was right to say that we cannot trust and we cannot depend on CARICOM. She was right. And they could say what they want. She was right.
CARICOM had stamped the approval to the Guyanese election, which was fraudulent. Never forget that. Brothers and sisters, tonight we bring to you a new, vibrant UNC team. Stuart Young say is a new chapter. There is a new chapter in an old, disgusting book. I want to tell you something. A snake will shed its skin, but the nature of a snake cannot change. A snake, Adesh, can't change its nature, but it has changed its skin. What we are seeing here, they change its skin, but it's the same snake, it's the same PNM. That is the same Young. And I want to tell him without talking too much about it, because a lot of speakers went in detail. You cannot unbully yourself. You can't unbully yourself, sir. I mean, I must tell you, when I was in high school, I make papers too, you know. I win a debating competition and I make papers. I never make papers for that. The fella was in high school and his name was in the Mirror. Some of you remember the Mirror, the bomb? Some of you remember the Punch too? So, I see a smile now on Dr. Lakram Bodu's face there. I didn't see whole evening, you know. But anyway, brothers and sisters, I couldn't believe when you were in school, high school, you could make papers for bullying a student and causing that student to drop out and be denied the right to do their exams. Stuart Young did that and he's no different today. He's no different today. He put this whole team together, Imbert, Camille Robinson, Hines. What you bringing them back for? You bring back them? I want to tell you, under the next government of the UNC, no minister will be collecting bribes for work permits. Take that in your pipe and smoke it. No minister of a UNC administration will be collecting bribe for issuing work permits. And I want to tell you something. The minister who is doing that is known, and the American authorities know. They know who it is. They are on the tracks. I say no more about that at this time. Camille Robinson Regis, we heard about her. This woman actually gone and said she didn't pass maths. She didn't what? Pass mathematics. One of my contacts in HDC tell me they believe that, Barry, because sometimes they put she to talk and she gone on the mic and say, testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They know she couldn't count to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She was only saying 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So they know she failed maths. But she boasting about that, like something to boast about. You hide if you fail maths, man. You don't tell nobody that. You don't tell nobody that. Camille Robinson Regis is a disgrace for the Attorney General. And Saddam Hussein, I think, dealt with some of that matters before. But brothers and sisters, I want to raise one or two new matters with you very briefly before I close. Today at the Cabinet Media Conference, they announced an appointment. The Parliament has been dissolved. Election has been called. They appointed a gentleman today as head of the Strategic Services Agency, SSA, Senator Lyda. Right? A former policeman by the name of Arthur Barrington. They are going to give us this man to work with for 3 years? Not a hell of that. I could tell you that one time. Not. That is happening here tonight. Mr. Watts, that is happening here tonight. So, this man was the guy, they put him in charge, Anil, of doing a report on the issuance of firearms of last year, 23, I think. Him, Arthur Barrington, and a distinguished Commodore Hayden Prashad from the Defense Force. Two of them had to do a report on the issuance of firearm. Hayden Prashad did not sign the report. Arthur Barrington alone signed the report that led to the undermining of the Police Service Commission, the Commissioner of Police, and the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service that did damage to 3 major institutions. Arthur Barrington was signing off on a report that cast aspersions on police officers to satisfy Keith Rowley. Today, he is rewarded as director of the SSA. So he now in charge of spying, listening to your conversations, intercepting emails and WhatsApp and texts and so on. So that is a dangerous man to put there because he will give Rowley and Stuart Young what they want. He will do what former head of the SSA, Roger Best, did not want to do. He will want to do what they did not want to do. And they are desperate, brothers and sisters. I want to tell you something tonight. The writing is on the wall. They will lose the elections and they are desperate. The writing is on the wall. But I think they thief the wall too. Because they're not seeing it. But their time is limited. Now is a time for nastiness from them. Mischief, deception. They will hound down opposition members now. Now is the time. And they will use the SSA under this new fella who they appointed today. I call upon the government and Mr. Young and others. Do not cease and desist from making appointments to the government service when you are weeks away from a general election and there is a change of governance that is imminent. You ought not to be making appointments like that when you are changing government. So Mr. Barrington is known. Mr. Barrington is known. And he cannot sit as head of the SSA in the circumstances that we find ourselves in. Another piece of news I want to tell you. They went the other day to open, Dr. Rishi, the central block. They didn't open no central block. They opened a shell. Senator Naked, I don't call he Dr. Naked now, you know. I don't know how he reached inside there, but he reached Dr. Naked. He duck in. So, they open a shell. So, what it is, a piece of lobster or something, you dig out and you dig out and you dig out. You know what they did, I have confirmed only today? They asked the people who doing the outfitting to outfit one floor, Dr. Bodo, out of 13 floors. So they had one floor, it was the fifth floor, sorry. The fifth floor is outfitted, right? All the rest of the floor, complete state of disrepair, not even tiles on the ground. No water, toilet facilities not working, air conditioner not working, nothing is there. No furniture, of course, no medical equipment. On the fifth floor, they say only people to go on the fifth floor. That is the only thing they want to show people. They put a fella in the elevator, and he was the elevator police. And when you go in the elevator, the only thing he could press is 5. And when you finish, he pressed ground floor. So nobody could go anywhere in that building. Today, they have problems with plumbing. That building will not be opened by no PNM government. It is a United National Congress has to go and clean up that mess. So hear this one. Do you know the Northwest Regional Health Authority? And I think Kevin has the photographs. Over the last 6 months, they boasting, we build in the central block, hospital bed, administration center, UNC didn't want to do it. We building, man. You know what they went and do? They went and rent a building opposite the Northwest in Port of Spain, a place called Dare Street, D-E-R-E, if that's the right pronunciation. Dare Street. They rent that building on your screen there. They're building a central block, huh? But watch the gimmickry. They rent that building for $400,000 per month. And we come into the owner. As Jack used to tell me a long time, hold on. $400,000 they rent that building per month. That is a private building. It is for the Northwest Regional Health Authority who boasting that they're building the central block. Here the next one, that is a private building. Do you know the government, well the Northwest Regional Authority, which is government, paid $13 million to outfit a private building? So that building belongs to someone else. The government paid $13 million to outfit it. They will pay $100,000 a month extra for maintenance and $400,000 in rent. That is $500,000 a month. That is where taxpayers' money going. That is why they want to cut pension, take away the people pension. Do not give people pension because you have a little thing in the bank you save after all your life. You save $25,000 for your whole life. And they want to deny you pension to pay for that building. That is what they are up to. Tonight we call upon the Northwest Regional Health Authority to come clean and tell us who owns that building. And if they fail to tell you who owns the building, I will tell you who owned the building. Tell us who owned that building and whether the owners had anything to do with the construction of Balize House. You see what happened there? You rent a building. Who own it? We don't know. Well, we know, but we're not willing to tell yet. And you don't know what other role they play. Who are they? $400,000 per month. And that is a scandal of the highest order. While they're boasting about central block and so on. That is what they're doing. So brothers and sisters, we have arrived at a great moment in our history when it is Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa who has answered the call to serve Trinidad and Tobago as head of government. When she was there last time, there's a unique part. There is great history this year. I'll explain. There's great history. 2025 comes 15 years after 2010, correct? I passed maths, by the way. I have a 1 in ordinary level, CXC maths. I must say that. You could check the books on that one. So 15 years after, do you know the children who Mrs. Prasad Bisesa gave laptops to will now vote for her in the general elections 2025? The thousands and thousands of children who received laptops, who got support from GATE so they could extend their higher level education and so on, they are now called upon to support Kamla Prasad Bisesa who gave them that opportunity. They are called upon. So Mrs. Bisesa is coming around now as the leader who gave the education, gave the equipment, and today will receive the privilege, the benefit, and the blessing of their support. It's a great moment in history. So don't listen to Stuart Young and that rubbish. Let me say briefly, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa is a seasoned, experienced politician. Where this country has reached now, economic collapse, social decay, energy sector has collapsed completely, joblessness, poverty, man, you name it, every problem we face here. Oh God, don't talk about crime. You need a leader with experience, with expertise, with a track record, with the skill, who has demonstrated leadership. And of the two of them, it only have one leader with the track record, one leader with the experience, one leader with the expertise, and one leader with the compassion, and that is Kamla Prasad Bisesa. We have to go that way. What is Stuart Young? I could give you example whole night. Did you all remember it was March 2020, I believe, when 35 Trinidadian nationals were locked out this country? I think many of them were teachers. They were locked out. They went to Barbados like vagrant. They went to Barbados begging for a place to stay, for food, for water. Stuart Young, that fella without a heart, lock out Trinidadian nationals. You all remember the government of Barbados beg Stuart Young, open the gate, open the airport, let your nationals come back. He denied those people the right to come back to their country. And when he was doing that, the Delcy lady Rodriguez, vice president, who is banned, who is sanctioned from America, they opened the airport for she to come here and then lie to say they didn't know. But our nationals, our citizens, our mothers, our fathers, you banned them and had them in Barbados begging a foreign government for housing, begging a foreign government for food and water. My friends, I want to tell you something. On that alone, that fellow must never see the Prime Minister office one day after the 28th. Never, for what he has done. Look at our team. Look at our team of candidates. Brilliant people with experience, academic qualifications, skills. Speak very, very well. I used to tell people when Barry finished talk, I used to feel kind of a little scared talking after, because of the power of his delivery and his aggression. Tonight, look, I had to hear the dragon, firepower. I had to hear Khadijah. When Khadijah finished, I wanted to quietly get up and go home. I said, but who could speak after such a fiery and powerful delivery? This is the platform we have. This is the passion, the knowledge, the experience. We have the best team to lead this country, and you haven't seen all yet. You haven't seen all yet. We have the team. A team that is superior to Stuart Young's team. So you have to give us the chance. We have to return and save this country. Every sector we have to have a rescue plan. And we will reveal much more plans. But don't forget, don't let people chain you up. Saying the UNC not ready and the UNC not ready. They limit that, I can't use the word, but that is hogwash. right? Hogwash, I will say that, I could use that word. We have been campaigning and outlining policies for 10 long years. Man, every Monday night, Mrs. Prasad says, standing up talking. Then she sit down talking. Then she talk while she walking. Only policy, program, plans. We have been doing this for 10 years, and in the last few years, you remember all those opposition leaders, Monday night symposia, where we outline policy in education, in crime, several areas, health, and so on. We have the plans. Don't let people tell you we're not ready. We're ready. We have the media. We took control there. We have the people. Look at the people assembled here. I mean, I don't want to continue too long, but like, I don't want to go home. I mean, we have to go home sometime. Huh? So, brothers and sisters, we have the team to lead this country. We clearly have the political leader. Clearly, when she led this country, it was with distinction. She led this country with charm. I mean, this is a woman who could charm a cobra snake. Huh? I mean, she has that. I mean, you could compare her to Stuart Young. That fella has the charm of Hannibal Lecter. The cannibal. He has the charm of Hannibal Lecter. The fella has, as the Express said, he's charisma free. He has no sizable personality. A political leader is someone who must have some type of charisma, some type of, pull, some ability to motivate people, to lift people. You could see Stuart Young delivering a speech in Constantine Park to the PNM, 20,000 people or whatever. That fella cannot talk to 10 people. He cannot. So brothers and sisters, the case is made. The case is made that the UNC has the superior team. This is the time when the UNC wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins. And do not take on those detractors and dissidents and so on. They want to tell you this one resigned. A fella resigned from somewhere deep south. I in this party 34 years and I don't know he. And he resigned. I said, well, when did you apply? I 34 years in this party. I don't know he. And he resigned. Who is he? But they make news. They make news. And next one, I had to talk to Rafi Ratiram there. I think he's in charge of the membership. It has something called special members in this party. I didn't know that. A fella resigned. No office. He has no office. He has no portfolio. He has nothing. He do nothing. They make papers. He resigned. He resigned from what? What did he resign from? The janitorial services? What did he resign from? Better say he could fly away on one. But brothers and sisters, do not take them kind of chain up from people. We are ready. We are ready, and we are ready to support our political leader. We are ready to support all our candidates in the coming days. Brothers and sisters, we must walk. We must talk. We must mobilize. We must agitate. We must be ready at a moment's notice for everything, every eventuality. I keep on reminding people, because I have been on this compound for a long time, I have the benefit of a little wisdom. Huh, Richard? I have a little wisdom. We will have massive crowds. Take it from me. I know what's going to happen here. We will have massive crowds. We will have thousands and thousands of people at our meeting. Take it from me. When you go to a UNC meeting, you're lucky if you get a chair to sit on. We'll have thousands. Too much people we'll have. People do not win elections that way. Organization wins elections. Structure wins election. Your work on the street, in the community, in your household, that wins election. People just lose election by 2 votes. And when they check in their house, 2 adult children didn't vote. That's how you just lose it. We have to ensure that we do the scientific work. We calculate our efforts in every community, every street, every village, every city. That is what will win. So tonight we appeal to all of you and those who are listening to join us. Join your UNC candidate. Join all of the UNC candidates and the UNC family to have the biggest mobilization this country has ever seen in our history as we march forward towards recapturing the government of Trinidad and Tobago. My brothers and sisters, whether it's Rowley or Young is irrelevant. 2 of them is the same side of the same coin. One is, they are both the bullies of this time. And do not allow Stuart Young to bully Trinidad and Tobago. And I will say in closing, I know, I listen, I'm not deaf. I just listened in Parliament. Stuart Young comes from a particular DNA. And I use that word outside of medical sense. A political DNA. Let's put it this way. A political DNA. I have seen him and heard him in Parliament. I have been there 24 years. In Parliament, we have what is called pikong, banter. When somebody is talking, you give them a little heckle. You say something about what they are saying. You attack what they are saying. You could tell a fella, hey, you're talking rubbish there, man. What stupid point is that you're making? You know, you could find a way with banter. It's called banter. It's called pikong. When these guys speak, they are personal in their attacks. They attack you for how you look, for how you sound, for the clothes you wear, for what you like or you don't like. That is how they behave. That has had no, before Stuart Young came to this Parliament, that had no place in Parliament. People will give a banter, and then we'll meet in the corridor and say hello. We will have tea together. There was a time when both sides used to play cricket, you know, literally, you know. We played cricket when Mrs. Prasad Bisesa was Prime Minister. We had a cricket match. Government and opposition played the judiciary. Tim Gopi Singh was the captain. I won't say how the match went. So brothers and sisters, we had that camaraderie. When they came with dirtiness, with nastiness. That is how they rule. So we have to put an end to that. So brothers and sisters, I will leave you tonight by indicating that it's a great moment in our history. We have arrived at a great juncture when we will reclaim our country. Tonight I say to all of you, rally together, band together, and work with Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, our UNC colleagues, to return the UNC to government. Long live the United National Congress. Long live the great people of St. Augustine. Long live our struggle for unity, equality. Brothers and sisters, I thank you. Love you all.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
St. Augustine, I don't want it to go nowhere yet. We have a little entertainment. All in St. Augustine, I want all to relax all yourself. We have 2 special items. We have doubles and corn soup for everybody. But I don't want to move yet because we have Mikey K is going to introduce some special.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide.